Attention!
Welcome to the Film Mages Podcast, where the popcorn is our ammunition, the couch is our foxhole, and the cinema is our place of worship.
Now let me see your war face.
Zach's been juicing all week.
No,
Getting
I
juiced up for the podcast.
I have been. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Film Majors.
Are we recording?
We sure are.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, you can tell that Alexis is in the room with us because Nick gets surprised.
Yeah, which is a nice change.
Yeah.
I like being surprised. I like having Alexis around.
We know.
Yeah.
I like being surprised too. Not from behind, but you know.
What? Huh?
Well, that's news to me.
God, I'm Zach.
I wish you had told me that more. Oh, never mind.
I'm wondering.
If only she had told me that 5 minutes earlier.
I'm just wondering who you two are.
Oh, I'm Alexis.
I am Mick.
Yeah. Look at that, guys.
I don't know why I said it like that.
We're coming up on a year of the podcast.
I'm already hot.
And, you know, it
Time's
feels
just flying.
It really feels like we've come full circle because we're all back in this apartment.
Yeah.
And it's so hot.
It is.
It is.
Horrendously
I just
hot.
got back from the gym and I didn't have time to shower.
I just got back from a building that is centrally cooled, so...
Oh, that must be nice.
It's not, because now I'm here.
Now you're here.
We're talking about this because we have to shut off...
Yeah, we have to shut off all our AC in our
sounds when we
swanky recording studio.
Yeah, we're very state-of-the-art.
Yep. Nice and sticky in here.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
So, Alexis,
Sir,
how you doing?
I'm great. What's going on with you?
That's great.
Whoa! What is going on?
What is going on, folks?
Well, I feel like we got one thing that we gotta talk about right out the gate. SAG strike.
Yes.
I feel like we gotta get into it a little bit.
You said SAG strike.
I did.
Okay.
SAG
I
AFTRA.
thought you said sex strike.
Yeah, I
for a
heard sex
second,
strike
and I
as
was
well.
like,
And I was like,
Sex strike.
I am
behind it.
not in solidarity with that one.
Nick, I will not have sex with you until we cover
that
who
is
framed
the
Roger
one
Rabbit
thing.
on this podcast.
Oh, all right.
And
I
then
guess
when we
I
do-
guess I know what our movie is next week then.
Oh, no, wait.
Yes, the SAG-AFTRA strike in solidarity with the WGA. Let's talk about that just for a little bit.
Yeah, so if you're not super plugged into the film industry, you may not have heard a recent quote that came out from a studio executive.
It's anonymous, but this anonymous studio executive went on the record.
Yes, so the WGA has been on strike since May, and this executive made a comment to, I believe it was Deadline or Variety.
I think it was Variety.
Yeah, saying that the studios want to prolong the strike until writers start losing their apartments and homes, and that it is a cruel but necessary evil, and it might make for a cold Christmas for them.
Yeah. Which that other second half of that was a different executive.
Yeah.
When the Variety reporter did a follow-up of that's like... You got to admit that's a little
ghoulish.
harsh. And then they responded with, well, it's a cruel but necessary evil. And I love the fact that they themselves use the word evil. They know what it is.
They know what they're fucking doing.
Yeah.
I know. I was just thinking about Star Wars. It's just literally the Empire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like unambiguous fucking Machiavellian evil. And, you know, I could say all kinds of things about that sort of behavior, but I think Ron Perlman, star of the Hellboy films and a lot of Guillermo del Toro's films, said it best when he said, to the motherfucker who said that shit, there's a lot of ways to lose your house. Some of it is financial, some of it is karmic, and some of it is just finding out the motherfucker who said that shit. And we know who said that. And we know where you live. There's a lot of ways to lose your house.
Amen.
So, yeah, it's nice to see the actors standing in solidarity with the writers.
Yeah.
Another thing that was recently discovered is that studios have been scanning background actors when they get hired on a job. That's, extras.
Yeah.
With the intent to use AI to replicate their likeness in movies in perpetuity without paying them.
One day's work.
Yeah, they get
worth of
paid
pay.
for 1 day's work. And background actors did not know that they were being scanned for this purpose. So that was being done without their consent.
I have a friend who is a stand-in model background actor, and we've been talking recently about this, and she told me yesterday that she got scanned for this back in April. And again, did not know.
Earlier this year, I was considering getting into some background work, and I'm glad I fucking didn't, because that is ghoulish.
She told me she feels a little violated.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's really not cool.
Yeah.
And the reason we're talking about this is a big point of contention for the SAG union. They don't want to allow this.
Yeah,
if you're going to use an actor's likeness, then they need to be paid for it as if they are on set every day. Use it.
Same with the fucking WGA. They don't want writers' jobs to be taken away by a fucking AI.
And this is what the AMPTP is kind of choosing to die on. Is that, no, we want to use your likeness and not pay you for it.
Yeah.
And that's why the strike happened. They couldn't meet at midnight. It was because of this bullshit.
Ultimately, they will die on that hill because they don't fucking make anything. Actors and writers and fucking craftspeople make the movies. Studio fucking heads sit around and collect a fucking paycheck.
Yeah.
That is their job.
Yeah.
So go ahead and check our show notes because we've got donation resources for the writers. I'll be putting donation resources for SAG in there too. Remember, you're not donating money to help, famous actors and writers, because most people in SAG-AFTRA and the WGA are not wealthy people. They are working actors and writers.
I saw a statistic that apparently, you probably saw this too, that if you're a SAG member, in order to get the annual health coverage, you have to make at least $25K a year to meet that. Mm-hmm. And 87% of SAG members do not apply.
Wow.
87% of the entire union does not make 25 a year.
Yeah, I was online and I saw this video of this woman sharing. She's from Orange is the New Black, and she was in about half of the entire show. So 91 episodes? She was in 44.
Yeah.
And her statement is literally pennies. it's $29 for dozens of episodes of residuals.
Yeah, that's the other issue. Is actors don't get fucking shit for residuals on streaming.
Yeah.
It's fucking awful. I saw some story that Boots Riley, who's the director of Sorry to Bother You and the new show I'm a Virgo, he was out picketing, and the dude who picked him up in his Uber was another WGA member who drives Uber to make ends meet.
Dude,
Even
this guy, Luke Cook, who I follow on TikTok.
He's a great personality. He's one of my favorites. He's
fucking hilarious, yeah. And he has a side job. He literally is a trainer at a gym. He doesn't make enough money. He was a co-star on fucking The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and even this man does not make enough money to fucking Oh man,
it's bad out here.
Yeah, it's rough in these streets.
It sure is. So hit those donation links.
Yeah,
and
yesterday I went and hung out with a bunch of former crew with a project I worked on just to hang out, and we all kind of we touched base because we're in contact, but we all haven't hung out together in a group for a while, and we all were just kind of asking each other how y'all doing, and we all just kind of had that collective we're all kind of fucked.
Yeah,
this is bad, and there are some of us who are really lucky that have been working or about to work, but that is few and far between. It's pretty crazy. So this is not to be taken lightly. And again, something that I want to say, I've already stated to you guys, but I should say on the pod, that when that article from Variety dropped and we got those deplorable, vile quotes from those executives, I'm not surprised. Even before the strike, I mean, you know, I've kind of suggested that I'm not really a fan of the wealthy class. I think a lot of them are very capable at being
Peep
monsters.
our show art.
Yeah.
Peep our show art to
Exactly.
figure out where we stand on that.
So when this dropped, I wasn't surprised. I was like, yeah, I mean, that's exactly how I would assume they would talk. But what surprised me, and what really pissed me off about it, and why this is a really bad PR moment, is because not only is it confirmed that, oh, this is how they talk behind closed doors, this is their plan, their game plan. They feel so entrenched and emboldened with their position that they're willing to go on the record with how fucking awful they are. Now, if you were at a point,
surprise me.
if you're at a point where you feel so powerful that you can just straight up say that to a reporter and be like, yeah, release that. That is an ignorant confidence right there. That is worrying.
When I first saw that like screenshot from that Variety article, I just laughed, and then my sister was like, "What's going on?" And I was like,
What's going on?
You got to see this. This is too bold to be real."
Oh my god! Yeah.
And then Bob Iger.
Yeah,
We'll
Bob
still talk
Iger,
about Bob Iger a little bit.
talking about how the writers and actor strikes are disappointing and unrealistic.
Disturbing. He used the word
Disturbing. Yeah, you know what's fucking disturbing is that you make 300 times what your lowest paid worker makes, Bob.
Yeah.
Fucking, I'll try and link Sean Gunn's comments
The
on
fact
this.
that he said writers and actors are being unrealistic, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
You know
just so
what's
pissed.
unrealistic? Dropping fucking 212 mil on Secret Wars,
Yeah.
a show that does not exist. The writers and actors didn't decide to do that, Bob.
I've been talking with some other industry folks, and something that we all kind of agree on is like, yeah, we can't wait to work again. But kind of why? Like, why do we want to do this and help line the pockets of these assholes? Because we are kind of questioning that now a little bit.
Yeah.
Because what's going to happen is they're gonna reach this deal, and I fucking hope that it doesn't, like what happened with IATSE last year, doesn't happen again, where there are some, you know, behind closed doors deals, and then the union presidents declare to some groundbreaking decision, and really it's
The
nothing
people
at
in
all.
the union get screwed.
They're getting rolled over on.
I don't think that's going to happen just because this feels so fucking existential.
I mean, I fucking hope so.
Like, I don't see those guilds cracking because, you know, they can't. Like, that's kind of, if the unions lose this dispute, that's kind of the end of both of those professions. Which is bleak, because I'd like to write movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, also UPS is going on strike since we're talking about
A lot
labor.
of things are going on strike. Yeah.
That's, you know, fucking organize
Good.
your workplace.
Yeah.
All power to the workers. Bob Iger, suck my dick.
Well, I think the guy who's kind of pushing the whole UPS strike is the president of the Teamsters.
Yeah, the Teamsters.
Because he wants to unionize Amazon drivers.
Fuck yeah.
And that's like the big one. So he's trying to get UPS on board and just kind of keep that momentum going so that workers can get better fucking rights.
Love that.
Yeah.
You know? It's fucking crazy. Also, just a little thing that plays into this whole strike. Are you familiar with the Paramount Decrees from 1948?
No.
So that was basically, it was kind of a muckraking legislation that went through. The United
Good word.
States versus Paramount is like, basically, this was back when production owned distribution and exhibition
Right.
of films
yeah,
as
yeah.
well. And they call that vertical integration, where there's a lot of price fixing and they can control it from beginning to end. They split that up during the Paramount Decree. So that way the studios are not basically they're not in charge of fixing the prices and in charge of exhibiting the films. That's different theater companies that are not, they're not under the umbrella of these studios, right?
Yeah.
The Paramount Decree was reversed in 2020 because at the time, studios saw the writing on the wall, which is basically tech companies were getting into the studio world by Apple streaming. Netflix, Amazon Prime, now streaming stuff. And they realized that, things are going the way of streaming. Then COVID happened. Theaters get shut down. George Floyd protests. Presidential election. There was a lot of chatter of things happening around that time. And during that time, the studios pushed to have that decree reversed.
I do remember this.
And after that, we started getting Paramount Plus, Disney Plus, and all
these things
shit
that studios are wasting their money on.
Well, I mean, they're getting a lot of money from it. The people at the top.
And the share prices are going up, but they're losing money on these projects. Like they're fucking dumping millions of dollars down the fucking toilet. That isn't being made up for in subscriptions.
Yeah,
but we're talking about AI, and we're talking about
basically the world.
How we should be killing AI.
Yeah.
And
how you could say that humans, no one person should be in control of AI.
How it's kind of a noble mission that we should choose to
AI
accept.
is kind of this entity.
Dun 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 dun.
Folks,
it's here.
it is here.
Wow.
It was so nice that I saw it twice. We both did. Have you seen it yet, Alexis?
No.
No.
But Alexis, what did we do the other day?
I don't even want to say it.
You don't want to admit it?
No.
Yeah, talk about it.
So
I want to talk about it.
Alexis by herself on her own steam.
Yeah.
Before she came to sunny Los Angeles, watched Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol.
Yeah, let's talk about that first.
How was that for you, Alexis?
What do you think?
I must admit, for an action movie, pretty fucking good.
You started to see the vision?
I was seeing the vision. I was seeing Paula Patton in a blue dress beating the shit out of some billionaire playboy, and holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow.
Was that your favorite sequence?
Wow.
It's doing something for you.
I mean, the him scaling the building's pretty fucking tight, But also, just the masochist in my heart is just so utterly pleased by that.
She could choke me into
You love a
unconsciousness.
beautiful woman slapping the shit out of you.
I do. Who
doesn't?
Yeah, no, we all do.
I knew we had so much in common, guys.
Yeah.
There's a reason we all get along.
Labor rights and masochism.
Masochism. That should be our tagline.
But then Alexis and I watched Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation.
I want to discuss
Yesterday.
that because Alexis, what did you think?
What did you think, Alexis?
Oh my god. Why is Tom Cruise kind of fucking smoking hot in that movie?
There it is. There it is.
What the fuck? Okay,
And Pandora's box is opened. And by Pandora's box, I mean...
this man is crazy, but I'm so into it. Like the part where he's like on
Chained to a pole.
Chained to a pole,
That
and he
tracks.
kind of yeah. I never thought that I would be like in awe of like Tom Cruise working a pole, but here we are,
If she had some $1 bills, you know what Alexis be throwing at that scene.
God bless. And he uses just his core strength to like shimmy up this fucking pole.
Kicking his legs up into the air.
As I said, that's some Jackie Chan shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. And wow, yeah.
Yeah, so
That's it?
Alexis seems to be becoming sold on the Mission Impossible franchise.
Wow.
Yeah, I was trying to get you to watch Fallout with me this morning.
We'll watch it tomorrow. We'll watch it
hell
tomorrow.
yeah. I want to be there for that.
Yeah.
Let's watch
God.
Fallout.
Well, you live here, man.
Let's do it. Wait, what time tomorrow? Well, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. But Mick and I both went to the theater.
We did.
We went to the Universal City Walk IMAX
Yes, we did.
cinema screen.
Yeah. We saw Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning
Part 1. Pretty much fucking slaps.
It's kind of the best fucking thing ever, I think.
I don't know if I'm going to go quite that far, but I loved it. It rules.
Yeah. Our friend Sage, I think he got it right. Because I saw his Instagram post on his story, and it just was a picture of the poster with the caption, Perfect. And now it's like, yeah. He's like, he understood. He understood. What did you think on a rewatch, though?
On a rewatch, I think the stuff that worked for me worked more.
Yeah.
There's some stuff where I'm reserving judgment until I see part 2. There isn't anything that I really outright disliked.
Yeah.
Isai Morales as the villain, as the human villain.
Yeah.
I don't quite know how to feel about him.
Right.
He felt kind of thin. It seems like they're setting some stuff up for him for the sequel.
Right. Yeah.
But he didn't totally work for me. I also found that the opening of the movie prior to the cut to credits is a little bit long in the tooth.
Really?
I like everything that happens, but it feels like a lot. It doesn't have the same, like, bam, we're getting right into it that I think the very peak of the series does.
Yeah, but I like that because the reason I like it, why it takes so long to get to those opening credits, is because for a second I forgot about him. Like, we were already, like, kind of deep into the film, and then the credits come, and then it's like...
When the credits show up...
My thing is like, oh my God, that's the start? Like so much has happened already, and now we're getting the opening credits. That just made me so fucking excited. Yeah, that's why that works for me.
For me, it felt a little bit long in the tooth, but ultimately, that is nitpicking because I had a fucking fantastic time at this movie.
Yeah, it's so good. Pom Clementif. I loved her the first time. The second time, adore.
Yeah,
she's so good.
I'm really glad that both her and Haley Atwell get a chance to shine in this movie because they're
amazing.
Two actresses who have been in Marvel projects, and I think some of the better ones.
Yes,
but I feel like they were never really spotlighted.
Pom was better used than Haley Atwell in the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
But
neither of them really got the spotlight in the way that they... Haley Atwell, I would say, is the first, like, genuine secondary lead in a Mission Impossible movie.
I've thought about that, and I kind of disagree. Because I think the first, like, genuine, like, kind of, like, if I may say, sidekick support would be Rogue Nation with Benji. That's the first time I think that we have, like, a twofer. And it really works.
I agree that Benji, like, there's a lot of buddy stuff with Benji in Rogue Nation, but I think the difference is that, like, Benji never really gets, like, scenes to himself. You know?
That's true. Yes,
like,
yes.
Other than the one interrogation scene early in the movie.
Right. Which is great.
Haley Atwell gets to kind of command the screen on her own for... big chunks of the movie, and she fucking crushes it.
I love that they've been talking about getting Haley Atwell into the Mission Impossible movies for almost 10 years now.
Yeah.
And it just hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
And they finally got her in, and oh my God.
Crushes
she's
it.
So good. And then again, Pom Clementif said that she started acting because she originally she started practicing stunt work and like stage fighting. And the reason for that was because it was her dream to one day be like a stunt person in a Mission Impossible movie.
That's so fucking cool.
And then it's like, oh, well, I'm also a good actor. Then she got an acting career, and then look what happened.
Yeah, it's funny to me that she, like, started as a stunt person, because with the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, I've always thought that she's just so fucking funny.
Yeah, no, she's great.
Like, I would have assumed that
and she's so not
came
funny.
from, like, a comedy background here. Here she is just, scary. Like, imposing. Yeah.
So good.
And again, a timely film.
It is. I've noticed that. It's kind of interesting. Like, just the aesthetics of it are timely. Like the Fiat 500, it's not a new one. It's a classic one. The train, it's a steam locomotive. It's not a speeding bullet train like we get in the first movie.
The Orient Express.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. And I've noticed that
there's an action scene on the Orient Express.
Yeah. And they kind of start that with Rogue Nation with like... just kind of this classic aesthetic, like him going to a vinyl shop. And then when he's on the phone with Brant, he's in an old phone booth.
Yeah.
And like, really, how many phone booths are there in still operation?
Even if you really want to talk about it, Ghost Protocol is all about the most advanced futuristic technology in the world failing you.
Yeah. So the reason that we, to take it all the way back, the reason that we segued into this is because this is the first prominent anti-AI film to come out in the midst of this public conversation.
Yeah.
Because we've got a bunch before, Terminator and hell,
Yeah, it's almost like movies have been warning us about this
for a long time,
for decades and decades.
But this is the first film to come out where it almost feels like a current issue.
We were so preoccupied with whether or not we could. Yeah. We didn't stop to think about whether or not we should.
So we have the president of movies, Pro Analog, going after the computers here.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic.
Yeah.
That he willed this. Because let's talk about Tom Cruise for a second. That he willed this into...
Daddy?
He willed this into reality. He did. Because what happened when they were shooting this? COVID.
Yeah.
Like, and he...
They were establishing shots of Rome where it's empty.
It's completely empty. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. And
like they fly by so you don't really notice, but the streets are empty.
They got shut down a couple times. They chose to not, just like Top Gun Maverick, they chose to not to release it when it was supposed to. They wanted to wait until everything was open again so it could be properly viewed. They didn't cave. The amount of not blinking that was involved with this was incredible.
Hunt is a gambler.
It's incredible. Like he is. That's the thing. Ethan Hunt is Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise, Ethan Hunt. Man, they got the same fucking ethos.
Yeah,
it's fucking crazy. I had such a good time with it. It's probably, I think it's my favorite movie of the year so far. Yeah. It's very closely tied with John Wick 4.
So when he's hanging onto the plane in the fifth one.
Yeah.
I get it now.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, like I watched that and I was like, this man is fucking bananas. Right. Oh my God. Yeah. How does he do anything in his life when he's like had these kinds of thrills?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, in that latest Like the Fuse podcast, Benji was talking about how when they were
talking about
Simon Peck, excuse me, thank you. When they were talking about Burj Khalifa sequence in the fourth one, that was when Tom Cruise kind of had that epiphany of like, oh, this is how we separate ourselves from every other franchise. Like, if we can do this, no one can beat us. Yeah. It's our new thing. Yeah. Crazy stunts that we're actually doing. Like, we'll do that to promote the film. And if you've noticed, every single trailer that's been for a new Mission Impossible movie since then are kind of just behind-the-scenes clips of, all right, this is our newest stunt. This is Tom Cruise on a bike, and he's jumping a cliff.
Literally, the first bit of promotion for Fallout was Cruise, Simon Pegg, and Rebecca Ferguson going on the Graham Norton show in the UK and showing the clip where Tom Cruise breaks his ankle,
right?
And keeps running during the take, which is in the movie. That was the first way that they promoted that film.
Yeah, and that's a take they use in the final film. Is him getting up and running on his broken leg.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
You're gonna love it.
He is crazy.
What the fuck?
But speaking of small, crazy movie stars.
Yes.
I before I went and saw Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1 for the second time, I returned to the franchise's roots, and I don't mean I watched an earlier film in the franchise.
And you didn't watch Roots?
No, which would not really be be all.
Well, it's the same name.
Yeah, I guess I did say the word Roots. That's on me.
That is on you, dude.
No, I watched Buster Keaton's Sherlock Jr.
How is that?
Very entertaining.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, Buster Keaton is the original Tom Cruise.
Right.
In terms of just being a maniac who does his own stunts and is... he directed a lot of his movies. He directed Sherlock Jr.
Right.
He directed The General, which...
I still need to see that.
Oh.
They shot that in Oregon, right?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
The General is a train film.
Now that directly inspired Dead Reckoning.
Yes. But... yeah, Sherlock Jr. just like so many insane moments of like, how did you time this perfectly? There's a whole sequence where he's firing through a city, sitting on the handlebars of a motorcycle that someone else has fallen off of. So no one is driving it. So he's just firing through this city as cars like pull out into the road, and he like. He goes across train tracks and a train misses him by about a second. And this is all before, CGI and really before like miniatures and shit. So you're doing all that for real. You're just...
And Buster Keaton has said, like, when it came to stunts of his, that if it required, like, let's do another take before we get it, they would just cut it. Yeah. Like, we can't do this in like 1, 2, or 3 takes. It's probably not going to happen. And if it does happen, I'll probably die. So if I can't do it right off the bat, it ain't happening. So that's another thing to consider when you watch these crazy things that he's doing.
Is he's getting them in one or two.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I think it shows off another like skill of Buster Keaton's that I don't think he gets praised for as much. Is like he's really good with like comedy of like manners, like small reaction shit.
Yes.
There's a bit early in the movie where he's like sweeping up trash outside of a movie theater and he finds $1 and this woman comes up to him and she's like, "Did you see my dollar?" And he like looks at it and kind of like looks at it in his pocket and then like turns to her and goes, "Describe it to me."
Right.
Describe $1 to
right.
me. And then she's like describing $1 and he's like looking down and kind of like nodding to himself and like resigning himself to the fact that I guess this is her dollar. This is probably her dollar that she is
matches the description.
Yeah, matches the description of $1.
Yeah, this was a silent film, right?
Yes.
Like it's captions.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Nice. Orson Welles called him the sad clown.
Yeah,
which is very, I think, apropos.
Yeah, he does kind of have a sadness to him.
He does.
But yeah, I really enjoyed that, and
also weirdly handsome.
Kind of, yeah.
I've always found Buster Keaton kind of strangely
His weird
handsome.
little bug eyes.
Yeah. Just like Tom Cruise, like kind of weirdly handsome.
His strange intensity compels me.
Yeah.
But the one other movie
no damn sense
compels me though. The one other movie I watched was Sergio Corbucci, I believe.
Yes.
His 1966 film
Django.
Django, have you always been alone?
Who, if you've seen Django Unchained, you have seen Django himself.
Yes, the star of Django is in Django Unchained. Django is a spaghetti western starring Franco Nero. I really had no idea what this movie was about.
Yeah.
I knew that Tarantino had lifted the theme song and the name.
Character.
Yeah. The name Django.
Yeah.
But having seen it and realizing that a good chunk of this movie is about an ex-Union soldier wiping out a chapter of the KKK.
Yeah.
I get why this is the movie that he picked to lift the name of for his slavery revenge movie.
Yeah, and so cool that he got the original star to do a cameo.
Yeah.
That's really neat.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed it. It's on Tubi if you want to check it out.
God, are we sponsored by them yet?
No, but we should be. They haven't gotten back to me. I did email Tubi. Did you? Yeah. I want Tubi to sponsor us.
Yeah, this is
Tubi.
something we're actively pursuing.
Yeah, they have like a fucking incredible selection.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
So go ahead and check out Tubi. It's a free streaming service.
Yeah,
it's ad supported.
I want to check out Django.
Yeah, check out Django.
I was coming in and out a couple scenes. It looks pretty cool.
Kind of related to our big topic today, but man, film music from Italian movies from the 1960s.
Spaghetti westerns had the best.
And fucking Gialli.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
So good.
So good. That electric guitar in there.
Yeah.
Acoustic guitar. So good. Yeah. Like, I just listen to spaghetti western themes sometimes when I was driving down the road.
And that's why you're so cool.
I think that's my defining cool quality.
That's why people think you're the coolest. But that's what Zach's been watching. What's everybody else been watching?
Alexis?
I finally watched 65.
Oh, yes.
Oh, fuck. I wanted to watch it. That came on Netflix.
It did. And I was like, well, no time like the present to see Beefcake Driver.
Adam Driver came on Netflix.
Driver.
And so did Alexis. What'd you think?
Honestly, reading all the reviews on it, I thought it was going to be so much worse than it was.
Uh-huh.
It's not the worst movie I've ever seen. So,
therefore, it's fantastic, right?
I wouldn't say that. Although there's like a baby dinosaur that dies in the movie, and I was so sad. It was like every moment that like an animal's died, and you guys didn't tell me, and I did it to myself.
Well, that's not our fault this time.
I know. Anyways, not really. I would say the most compelling. I feel like there should have been some more work done for us to. I don't know. I didn't give a shit about his daughter, so then I didn't really truly give a shit about like.
Is that
his
like the
relationship.
emotional spine of the film?
Yeah, is kind of like the daughter, but I don't really think that
See,
is established very well.
That's my issue with Waterworld, where like the whole thing is based around this family dynamic that does not work.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh.
And I'm just like, okay, well now he's protecting her, and it's also like. How'd you end up on Earth 65 million years ago? That's never explained.
Wait, really?
That
Really?
is never explained.
It's the rabbit's foot. That's what the rabbit's foot is.
I feel like that's a really big thing to not explain.
Right? That's what I'm saying. Like they end up in
did
this
J.J.
like
Abrams make that film?
they end up in this like he ends up in this asteroid field. All these people are in like what is it? Cryostasis. And yeah, thank
Lucky
you.
guess.
Yeah. Good
Way
job,
to go.
good job, Mickey Pony.
Big words. Ugh.
That was scary.
Did you
Don't
see that?
don't
Did you see
bow
that
into it
film that
again.
just ran through here? That was weird.
The sad clown, Buster Keaton.
It
Where
was
are you?
Buster Keaton. He was here. That's his normal voice. Don't talk about it. He gets
I
embarrassed.
understand why you never
Fucking-
made it in the talkies.
Crash lands, and like basically most of the people who are in cryostasis are kind of juiced. And
I thought you said Jews for a second. I was like, what?
What do
All
you
the
mean
people
by
in cryostasis
juiced?
are kind of Jews. I was like, oh, interesting.
no, they're
Okay.
juiced. Like they're you know.
Well, yeah, what does that
everybody dies. Nobody's
Wait, is that what
survives.
juiced means?
I thought
that's-
I thought someone
I
had
thought
Some of them ended up,
someone
some
had
of
jacked
them
them off.
ended up kind of juicy.
Okay.
Wait, so they
So-
thawed out.
Yeah,
They get, like,
there was-
liquefied?
Yeah, a little bit.
So
There
it's
was
like
there's something
bathtub
going
woman.
on. Yeah,
Okay.
it was more like a bathtub situation. Anyways, doesn't matter. There's dinosaurs and
Kind of like a Hold on. Kind of like a bathtub situation. That's the most serial killer type thing that we've ever all kind of agreed on. Like, we all know what that means. It's a little muddy.
well.
Yeah, don't leave them
Anyway,
to soak.
so not as bad as I thought it would be, but certainly
Well, in
not
your-
a masterpiece.
Not a
In a
recommendation.
review, you compared it to The Last of Us, right? Why
Yeah,
is
because
that? It's like an escort film.
Yeah, basically,
Hmm.
like he's trying to get this girl to
That's what you're gonna go with?
Yeah, it's like a
An escort film?
escorting service.
I would refer to
that's a video
like-
game term.
Oh, okay. I'd refer to Pretty Woman as more of an escort film.
I guess Taxi Driver is an escort film. Technically.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no. So
We're pro sex work on this show.
we are
goddamn
pro
right.
sex work. Fuck. Yeah. Anyways, I gave it like 2 stars. So anything that's like a 2.5 star or below, like I won't recommend to people.
Right.
Because I feel like, I mean, you could definitely feel like you're wasting your time watching this, but I just was enjoying.
How is Daddy Driver?
Beefy, very beefy.
But was he good? Was he like he's like the only
You know,
good part
I
of the movie?
find actually that I watch him the most in general, just watching how he moves through scenes and like not just like that, not just like that.
But that
Sometimes
is
like
very
that.
much in play.
But I genuinely love watching his acting. Like it's just his style and like the physicality of every single thing that he's done. I don't know. So I really just enjoy Adam Driver. So like
Wait,
you know,
what? Really?
No, I don't believe
Yeah,
it.
that
crazy.
sounds
Cap.
Crazy sauce.
Cap.
I don't buy it.
I did
65.
65.
All right.
I also went and saw Joyride.
Oh yeah, how was
Oh,
that?
I need to see that.
Oh my god. Okay, that may be my favorite movie of the year so far.
You liked it
Oh,
more
fuck
than
yeah.
Past Lives.
Because it was so much fucking fun. It was bananas, guys. You got it.
B-A-N-A-N-A-S. This movie is bananas.
Yeah. Okay. One of my favorite things that I read was that when the script originally came to everybody on the cast, it was called Joy Fuck Club. Which, if you guys know the movie Joy Luck Club, is like one of the. So, like, between basically 1993 or 92, whenever the Joy Luck Club originally came out, to 2018's Crazy Rich Asians, there was no real U.S. big releases that had an all basically Asian cast.
Right.
Okay? And the Joy Luck Club is such a beautiful fucking story. Like, I've seen that movie a few times. I've read the book by Amy Tan. So fucking good. So the fact that they called this movie the Joy Fuck Club,
that's really
that
funny.
shit was so fucking...
Did you know that before or
This is-
after?
No,
you
I
saw
read
the
it
film?
after.
This is also...
But it made so much sense because of how the story progresses too. That there's like, I can definitely see how the Joy Luck Club kind of
its DNA is kind of
is ingrained in it,
Nice.
as well as like Bridesmaids, The Hangover,
Right.
like. Oh my God! Me and my sister and my mom and my nephew who's 8, we all went to see it. We did not realize it was going to be as adult raunchy as it ended up being. So maybe don't.
What did your mom?
Don't,
what did your
don't
mom
bring your
think?
8-year-old.
Yeah, or at the very least,
the 8-year-old was fine. It was his mom.
definitely close their eyes for this one part. Dude, there's a threesome. There's some cocaine exploding in someone's asshole.
The big boof, I call that.
Listen, we've all been there.
But yeah, the royal family loves those apparently.
Yeah, it had me laughing so hard from like start to finish, and it even had me crying.
From
Like,
laughter or from genuine?
No, just genuinely.
Wow.
Like, there's a turn at some point, and then I was just like crying. I was like, oh my God. See, for me, that's a great movie where it's like, oh my God, you genuinely have got me in stitches. And then like now I'm fucking like, I'm sobbing over here.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to make a point to see that because
Yeah,
I want to watch
go
it.
support comedies in the
Yeah,
theaters.
I technically gave it 4 stars, but like it's 5 stars in my heart.
Hell yeah.
Interesting.
Mick, got anything else? Because we should probably...
I don't think so, actually.
I did watch one other movie too.
Oh, what'd you see?
Psychopath Providence. It's an anime movie.
Oh, okay. How
Which
was
is
that?
actually very interesting because it is based on a society that has like an AI computer basically in charge of deciding whether or not somebody is capable of committing a crime.
Well,
like
that's not
Minority
good.
Report. Kind of.
Yes,
Kinda.
yes, actually, very similar. So the anime series actually kind of like
Is that a Tom Cruise movie?
actually deals with like kind of the idea of like what is crime? How do we define crime? Should an AI, be in charge of this, and just like, and conspiracies in the government and shit like that. And I actually really enjoyed the movie.
Nice.
So it's actually
great.
gonna make me rewatch that series because I haven't seen
Okay.
it since it debuted back in like 2013. But there's like a few other seasons of it, so
Nice.
Fuck
that I
yeah.
never saw.
Look at us watching movies.
I love that. One more thing I will say is I want to talk about not the movie Dead Reckoning, but the trailers that played before it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about on the pod what I talked about with you. So when you see this film, you'll
Okay.
notice that all of the trailers, there's a lot of them leading up to it, show what a potentially great movie year this will be.
Yeah.
And not a single thing that was advertised in front of this huge summer event film was a Marvel film.
Yeah.
Not even a comic book movie got
Hell yeah.
a trailer. You have
Their hold is breaking.
yeah. So my point is, it kind of feels like we might be finally coming out of the age of comic book films, because as Steven Spielberg has long said, he believes that it's going to kind of go the way of the Western. Well, we will always get them every now and then,
Yeah.
and that will probably make comic book films better because of it.
Oh, yeah.
But when it's like that's all that's being made, I think it's finally starting to round down, because like the Final Voyage of the Demeter had a new trailer.
Yeah, the last voyage of the Demeter. I'm
Looks
so excited.
really cool.
Yeah.
That's
Dracula
the vampire
on
boat
a boat.
movie.
It's a Dracula on a boat.
Did someone just like tap my dreams and like just
Yeah,
make
for
the
real.
movie for me?
Oh god, I just had an
something was
image
wet in that theater.
of our
Yeah.
fucking meme of Mick and Toes, but with the Dracula, what we did for the
Yeah,
Dracula.
for the Dracula.
Oh, yes.
Follow us on Instagram.
Yes.
Film Bitches
Oh my
Pod.
god.
But then you have the new Ridley Scott Napoleon trailer. You got
Oh my
You
God.
People went crazy for that in my
Yeah.
theater.
Oh,
It's
I'm
great.
fucking
You got
so stoked.
Dune 2. You got Oppenheimer. You got there's just all of these
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
New
Another one.
Scorsese.
Damn.
It's just like
Dude, this year's popping.
yeah, you had this feeling
It's-
in
I've
the
been-
theater where I was like, it kind of feels like something has shifted.
And it feels good
As
because
Mr. Gibbs
I've-
said, I sense a change in the wind, says I. Oh, I actually said that to the person next to me, and they moved seats after I
Yeah,
said that.
it's weird because that was your date.
Yes, my girlfriend just left.
She left. She walked. She got up and left. She's
Yeah.
gone
She
now.
just- I haven't
Mick
seen her
doesn't know
since.
where she is.
I can't find her.
She's gone.
She removed the air tag that I put on her
I was
belt.
about to say, is the bathtub occupied?
All right, let's hop out of what's going on.
You hear that?
Hello, everyone. I really hope that you enjoyed your little break. Lord knows I did.
I loved my little break.
It was very insertive.
So, guys, we're still in it.
What?
We're still in Blockbuster Month.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, we've got a big topic today. I believe
Indeed.
this was an
topic.
Alexis pitch.
Huge.
I think.
Yes.
Indeed it was.
And,
This is a great one.
It's a good one, and that would be
No, it's a great one, Zach.
Okay, it's a great one.
Jesus. Can you please? Okay, you know what? No,
Oh my God.
I'm glad we're talking about this. You are just so underwhelmed all the time.
Sometimes
It's not great. It's
Sometimes
good.
I'm overwhelmed.
Just always review.
I'm overwhelmed
Do you
by
think
the
you
shit
can
you're
ever just
getting
be
up
like-
to often.
If you can be like underwhelmed and like overwhelmed,
Can
do you
you
ever
be
think
whelmed?
it'd just be whelmed?
You're just whelmed.
I'm sometimes whelmed.
Are you whelmed? Are you
Sometimes
whelmed?
I feel like often I'm whelmed.
I'm positively whelmed.
I feel like sometimes I'm underwhelmed, but I feel like mostly I'm pretty whelmed.
Can you be unwhelmed?
No,
how
I
you
think
feeling?
once you're whelmed, that's kind of it.
Okay.
So today's big topic is great leitmotifs.
Let's try that again.
Theme.
Today's topic is what?
Great leitmotifs.
Yes, it is.
In cinema. And for
What is a
those who know,
leitmotif?
that is a recurrent theme through a musical or literary composition associated with a particular person, idea, or situation.
Right.
So,
What's
I
a
feel-
great example of that?
Dun 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 dun
Dun,
dun 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 dun.
Right. So that is a piece of music that when you hear that, you immediately know
Darth Vader.
Darth Vader's here or the Empire's here,
Yeah.
Honestly,
which represents an idea. It represents evil.
John Williams so good at leitmotifs.
That's his whole thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's
He's
a
so
reason
good.
we're
He's so
talking
good
it
at it.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably the fucking best at it. Really.
Yeah, master of that craft right there.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Sounds like there's violence happening in our apartment complex.
Children being kidnapped.
Yeah. Mick?
It's not me.
Yeah, you're here. It's good to know that he's here.
Yeah.
So, guys, what are you thinking? What are some of your favorite leitmotifs?
There's so many.
Great. This is fucking going so well.
I did not do that on purpose.
Did you just fart?
No.
No, you burped, I
It was a
think.
burp.
Oh.
Yeah, but it was like all contained. And how's your titty sweat?
It's hot in here, guys.
It's really.
I'm just wondering if you guys know any leitmotifs. Just any.
I still
just
don't
name
know what
one.
it is.
I could
Name
definitely-
one.
I could definitely think of fucking
Nice.
Yeah.
Chihiro.
I don't believe her.
Chihiro in fucking Spirited Away.
What is it?
Oh, yeah,
Because
that like big sweeping
we can't play
score.
it because of copyright issues.
But we can
sing it and hum
No,
it. No?
I refuse.
Wow.
Oh my god, I'm sweating even more now.
Yeah.
One leitmotif that I like that ties back to our last episode is the symbiote theme from Spider-Man 3.
Oh, I don't.
Oh,
really? I'm not crazy about that.
I really like it.
Maybe it's because it's just been all memeified.
That
now.
might be why I like it. I might associate
That
it.
didn't come out until the third one?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Also, Danny Elfman didn't do the music for that one. It was
did he do
kinda
the second
his
one?
protege. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he did 1 and 2, but not 3.
Nice. One of my, another great, not that this guy needs any more praise, another great creator of leitmotifs, of some famous ones, is Hans Zimmer. I think Jack Sparrow's theme, he's a pirate.
Da, 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 da. Is that it?
No, it's a church song. What are you doing?
Oh
my God.
I
kill
myself.
Is that ringing a bell to you?
No.
No, I'm
Being
telling you.
so fucking gaslit.
No, that's not it.
What are you thinking?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that
This
is.
is a different piece of music for pirates. It's
The Black Pearl has its own theme.
I think that might be the piece of music that's playing when he's like rolling into Port Royal.
Maybe.
Pretty sure.
Yes, Jack Sparrow's theme I really love. I also really love Sherlock Holmes' theme from Guy Ritchie's Sherlock Holmes films.
That's a good one.
Which now I understand why you told this to me, Zach, the other day, where you were like, RDJ did an interview and he said that Ultron was content and Sherlock Holmes' Game of Shadows is not content. And when I read that, I was like, he understands.
You're goddamn right.
You are goddamn right.
Guy Ritchie, visionary.
But yeah, the theme that Hans Zimmer has for that is great, because that's not only a theme, but that's also his leitmotif, Sherlock Holmes. And the proof of that is in the end of the second film, where, spoiler alert, Sherlock Holmes dies. Maybe. We then get a hint at the very end that actually he might have survived. And when that idea is presented, you get the dun 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 dun. And we know that the fact that the music is still alive, we know that the character is still alive.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they wouldn't play it.
Music in fucking movies. It's
important.
Horny for Horner.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Horny for Horner.
Yeah.
We're horny for Horner.
I bring
James
up
Horner. Rest in peace.
one more time. I must bring up Balto.
Balto.
That is crazy. That's your constant go-to.
That's awesome.
Because the score he did
that's
for
such fucking freak shit,
yeah,
man.
the thing
I'm
he
with
did
you all the way, buddy.
for Braveheart, Titanic, great shit. But Balto's your go-to. That's crazy.
That's like one of those VHSs that was like very battered because I watched that movie so often. It was like The Lion King, Aladdin, Balto, Little Mermaid. But yeah, no, there's like this. Okay, I can't even. No, I don't even.
Damn
want
it, she
to.
got
No.
so close. I was like, she's gonna do it. She's gonna hum it.
Anyways, so it kind of like every time that he feels like he can't do enough, be enough, fit in, this music kind of plays under, and like during this last part where he kind of loses heart, this music starts to play again, and then it's kind of like he. And this is literally one of my favorite parts of this fucking movie. Is because
Alexis is crying right now.
Kind of selling me on Balto. I don't know if it's the heat.
No,
or
that's just sweat.
I don't know if it's the heat or what, but I'm feeling like in on Balto.
I think you showed me Balto, right?
Balto's a great movie, guys. Okay, I still to this day will watch Balto. It is so good.
I haven't seen
it
it
is
since I was
all
a
about
kid.
the underdog.
Literally.
No, we love an underdog movie, and because he's half wolf, half dog, and so at the moment that he decides, like, actually, yeah, I can fucking do this. I am capable.
That's a quote from
of
the
fucking
film.
doing this. He literally puts his paw into the paw of a wolf and realizes, yeah, actually, I can fucking accomplish this. And then they start like howling together, and the music just swells all crazy. It's beautiful.
Music
guys.
swells, by the way.
I was gonna say no. The music was welling.
No. You know who is both one of my favorite filmmakers and one of my favorite film composers?
And is also a creator of wood furniture.
Mr. John Carpenter.
Ah.
I mean, he's written a lot of great music in his career, but I think the one to
Does
bring
he do
up
leitmotifs though?
Halloween.
Yeah. I guess that represents.
That's the shape.
Yeah, Michael Myers.
That is
yeah.
Michael. That you know.
Yeah.
And don't do it. You know he's around.
Yeah. That's like the slasher equivalent of the Jaws theme.
Oh.
Yeah.
Speaking of Jaws, we got to bring up my boy Igor Stravinsky.
Whoa.
Thank you.
Do we?
Yes, actually we do. Because The Rite of Spring, if we did not have The Rite of Spring, which debuted in like I think 1913 or 1914 in Paris, and fucking people thought that shit was so atrocious because they did like choreographed a ballet to it, and it's basically like a bunch of pagan gods or something, and this girl's getting sacrificed and she like dances herself to death. People were just like, what the fuck was that? But he also at the moment of this like sacrifice, like bum 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 bum. Yeah, it's like you can hear it in Psycho, you can hear it in Jaws. John Williams clearly is referencing it often.
Send that to me because I'm not familiar with it. Because I'd love that.
Yeah,
Because some of
like
my
you can just tell like how much film composing kind of
It stemmed from that.
That piece.
Alexa's
so
fucking
cool.
coming in with the historical
Yeah,
facts.
well,
we love it.
I never
This
listened
is
to
an
that song
educational
at the fucking
show.
gym so much.
I never get to talk about this in casual conversation, but what you're kind of touching on is something that I believe there were so many great orchestral pieces that were released in the early 20th century, like the early 1910s and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you get that.
Yeah.
You also got Turandot, which is featured heavily in Mission Impossible Rogue Nation during the opera scene.
Yeah.
The love theme from that.
Can I really, real quick,
That's
talking
beautiful.
about Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, Ilsa Faust is such a fucking lazy name. Like, I love it. It's a great name for a character.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, let's see. We've got this character who shows up at an opera and in Casablanca. Let's call her Ilsa Faust. Because Ilsa is a
that makes so
character
much
in
sense.
Casablanca and Faust is an opera.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I forgot to mention this, but the fucking opera the Vienna Opera House section of fucking Rogue Nation, holy shit. Oh my god, love that.
Remember I
Loved
said
it.
it's my favorite thing
It's so
ever?
good. They're playing Nessun Dorma underneath, and
Yes,
I'm just like,
that's
oh
it.
my
That's the
god.
love
Which
theme.
then becomes Ilsa's leitmotif.
Yes, because in the end, when they're saying goodbye in the tunnel, they play it again, which is such a great piece of music. And the fact that we have a whole fight scene in the catwalk scored to an operatic piece that's
Yeah.
well over 100 years old, and it works so well.
Wow, that is way too
Now
way
I
too
can
loud.
die happy, man. But yeah, that's a great example. I'm so glad you love that scene because I really think that's my favorite sequence out of all of them.
Yeah.
But anyways, leitmotifs.
The guy who does Pan's Labyrinth, Javier Navarrete.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the lullaby for the little girl.
Yes.
So beautiful.
So good.
Haunting. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, like, you know, obviously, this is a spoiler alert if you've never seen fucking Pan's Labyrinth, but this little,
Idiot.
the girl, like, dies at the end, and so when it starts playing, that is the saddest fucking song ever.
Yeah.
Man, makes
Well-
me sweat just thinking about it.
Guys, why are we talking about leitmotifs?
Excuse me? No.
I'm just
We
wondering.
haven't talked about Howard Shore yet, you idiot.
Well, yeah.
Come on. Lord of
And-
the Rings.
Yeah.
Can you,
There's
that is
so
a
many,
leitmotif
yeah, there's
making
so
machine.
many fucking leitmotifs in that
And it's
series.
crazy. And they're all good.
I
Rohan. It's so good. You get the Shire gets one. The
the
Fellowship
Shire
gets
theme
one.
routinely makes me cry. Like if I hear the Shire theme, I will get chills
Yeah.
and tear up.
Well, see,
Just because
Yeah.
I associate it with such positive things.
yeah.
Love it.
I see what I love about Lord of the Rings music is, and it could be talked. There's a great YouTube video. I should have fucking looked it up before we recorded that breaks down the leitmotifs of Lord of the Rings. If you can watch it, check it out. Sorry, I'm not giving a shout out to whoever created it. They have the leitmotif of the Fellowship, which changes throughout the course of the entire film. Where at the peak of the Fellowship in the beginning of the movie, it's a full orchestra that's playing it. But as it diminishes and diminishes, you get it in kind of sad iterations with just a couple of instruments because it represents just how severed it's become. But that core theme is still there. Like a great example of that is at the very end of the Fellowship where you have Frodo on the shore line of that river and is looking out after it's been split up, and he knows that he has to continue this journey on himself. It's a singular French horn. It's playing. Dun,
We love a good French horn.
dun, dun, dun. Yeah, it's fantastic. Howard Shore, so fucking good.
Also did the Twilight movies.
Yes.
Were you going
and
to talk about Bella's love theme?
It's so good. It really is.
Hey, listen, let me put that up on the tee
Yeah,
for you,
thank
buddy.
you, dude. It's
Knock it
fantastic.
out of the
That was
park.
great. That's good sportsmanship right there. Bella's theme is beautiful. When you watch the Twilight movies, And there's that scene where Edward and Bella are at the top of the tree. I think it's the first or second one, and it's this great helicopter. Yeah, it's this great helicopter sweeping shot of the Pacific Northwest, and you get the Bella love
sitting
theme.
in a fucking 100-degree apartment.
It's getting hotter right now because of me.
Talk about Bella's love theme.
Yeah.
I feel insane.
I
had a late night
so
last
good.
night.
Okay.
I feel crazy.
Side note. I love wolves. Okay, Balto.
All right,
True blood.
let's fucking see where this goes.
Okay, but Fantastic Mr. Fox. Every time they mention like this wolf, there's the specific music that plays
what is
under
it again?
It's called it's called Canis lupus, which is like the term for like a wolf or whatever. You know, it's Alexander Desplat.
Yeah,
Desplat.
Desplat.
That I think does not get enough credit for giving Wes Anderson films a distinct identity.
Yes. Yeah.
Because you have that whole Wes Anderson fad on TikTok right now, and it's not just the composition and the color palette; it's also the music that everyone's using. That's written by fucking Alexander Desplat. It's so good. I'm probably not saying his name right, but I love the music he did for Grand Budapest. It's so good.
Last one I'm gonna bring up before we get into it is Dracula's theme from Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yes.
Ba-ba-bum, bum, ba-ba-bum, bum, ba-da-da-da.
I had a great time to that song.
Yeah.
Did you? Did you? Tell me more.
I will.
Not.
So
why are we talking about leitmotifs?
Damn it. Thomas Newman. Shout out Thomas
Yes.
Newman.
Motherfucker.
He's had so many good ones.
We are an hour in.
What's wrong with
fine.
that? Jesus.
Listen, much
Why
like
are you
today's
so
film,
anti-fun?
we need to be relentlessly paced.
Also, Nicholas Rocha's love theme from Ben-Hur is so good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I think is good? I think John Williams' theme for Indiana Jones is pretty fucking good.
It's okay.
Arguably one of the best pieces of film music of all fucking time.
That is true. When I was watching it earlier today, someone walked in and they were just like, God, the music in this is so good. Like they had just heard it and walked into the room.
Like, listen, when I would see trailers for Indiana Jones The Dial of Destiny, which is a film that I did not like, and I kind of figured I wouldn't like.
Right.
When I watched those trailers and John Williams' score kicked in, I was like, is this going to be the best movie ever?
Right.
It's the most exciting piece of music.
Yes. Well, okay, so
we're talking about Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yes, that we're not talking just about the music of it. We're talking about the whole film, obviously. But something that I think is really important, something that's really important for the music of that and why it's so good. And it's something that Peter Jackson told Howard Shore is like the themes need to be hummable. They need to be something that you can whistle.
Yeah.
That sticks in your head. And that's why it's so good. And like there's some great music, there's some great films, but the themes just don't stick with you because they're not like songs. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's what's so great about John Williams scoring that is because you hear that you hear the first couple notes and you just feel like you're being brought into a world.
Yeah.
You know?
And also like it's so associated at this point that like you hear those couple notes and you're like, that's Indiana Jones. Yeah.
It is crazy though, like how you can hear other scores in the midst of listening to a specific score where it's like, oh, this kind of sounds like the desert in Star Wars, or oh, this sounds like Harry's Wondrous World because they're all John Williams.
Yeah.
Right. There's a piece of a great piece of music from The Force Awakens that sounds like it's ripped right out of Harry Potter. Like it could have been
interesting.
It could have been in Hogwarts, and obviously John Williams did the same thing.
Yeah.
So, Raiders of the Lost Ark is a 1981 film directed by Steven Spielberg and starring Harrison Ford and Karen Allen.
The mind himself.
This is our first 3-time director. This is the third Spielberg movie we're talking about.
That's right.
And the description. This is not a complete sentence, but I'm going to go for it. Epic tale in which an intrepid archaeologist tries to beat a band of Nazis to a unique religious relic, which is central to their plans for world domination. Battling against a snake phobia and a vengeful ex-girlfriend, Indiana Jones is in constant peril, making hair's breadth escapes at every turn in this celebration of the innocent adventure movies of an earlier era.
Did they even watch the movie?
for real.
Who's the vengeful girlfriend?
Yeah, Marion is not vengeful.
And were they even together like
They
that?
had like a thing.
I think whoever wrote that saw up until the Himalayan bar sequence and then stopped watching.
Yeah, seriously.
She's so vengeful. Click. I've seen enough.
She hits him one time.
Yeah. Also,
Not enough times.
I love.
No, probably not.
It makes me laugh
such a
more and
scamp.
more now. But that line where Marion has you hurt me. You know what you were doing. I was young. I was in love. Is the most cliche line that any person can tell someone else. You hear it a million times, and it just makes me laugh so much. I don't know what it is about. I was young. I was in love. It's just so melodramatic. I love it. It's so good. She delivers it so well.
I love that her superpower is
Being drunk.
being very, very good at being drunk.
Yeah,
Being
just
great.
getting hammered.
Yeah, she's
Getting
like
hammered,
Jackie Chan
drinking
from fucking
Drunken Master.
Yeah.
Drinking men under the table is my favorite fucking pastime.
Well, you know, you worked on it last night.
That's true. They have a setup and payoff that I've actually quite not thought about before. So you meet Marion in the bar, and she wins that drinking contest.
Yeah.
And then later with Belloc, he's fucking drunk, and she's drinking, acting drunk, but in reality, she's fine.
Yeah.
She's super level-headed and planning her escape.
Yeah.
That's cool. I actually never considered that a setup and payoff, but it totally is.
Yeah, no, that really works. I love Marion as a character so much. Karen
She's great.
Allen should have had a fucking bigger career. I think movie recommendation, you guys should check out Starman. It's a John Carpenter movie. Kind of him trying his hand at a Spielberg type movie. And Karen Allen is fucking fantastic in that movie. She's so good.
Nice.
A side note, now that we've all seen The Fabelmans, what do we think about the fact that he has a fucking
Capuchin monkey.
a monkey?
That's the same type of monkey that his mom had, that Spielberg's mom had when he was a kid.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
he poisons it.
Yeah, it's all different. Also,
This is a great date movie. There's a lot of dates in it. Because I never caught that before.
Boo.
Where it's like, come on, Mary.
Tomato.
Eat a date.
Tomato.
Eat a date. She's like, what is this? It's a date. You eat them. I've never noticed that before until literally today when I watched that one. It's a whole, they set up the dates.
They do, yeah.
It's a great date film.
Yeah, fuck you. Fuck off.
Jesus.
This is why we need writers. No, also, something that it kind of really hit me on these past few watches prepping for this episode, because, I've seen this movie more times than I can count.
Incalculable times.
It's fucking bananas that they get a monkey to do a...
B-A-N-A-S-A. This game...
You couldn't even spell my
can't
God!
I got too excited.
Oh, this is
Stefani would be
really...
so disappointed in
so
you.
many ways.
This is starting to be a real interesting episode, the hotter it gets.
You're welcome.
But no, it is wild.
Bananas.
Fuck
You might even say.
That get a monkey to Heil Hitler.
Yeah, that's great.
A monkey
Who trained
does
a monkey
Hitler
to Heil Hitler?
And the monkey doesn't know that it's in a movie.
That monkey was canceled immediately after.
That monkey was radicalized on the set of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Went straight to a public hearing in Israel right after the making of that film.
You're goddamn right. That is kind of a good transition point, though, to another thing that I love about this movie.
With the Nazis?
Is that this is a fucking Jewish revenge movie. No.
Continue that line of thought. You can't stop at that.
No. This is a Jewish revenge film.
It is.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I've seen complaints about this movie that, if Indy had done nothing, then it would have ended the same way because the Nazis would have...
You would have killed Hitler.
Would have gotten melted by the Ark. But,
Yeah.
I like... That's the resolution because it's these fucking...
Also, that's not Indy that did that. That's Belloc that did that.
That opened the Ark?
Yeah, he was the one that was insistent, we got to open it before Hitler.
No, I think that a complaint I've seen lodged at this movie is that Indy's actions don't affect where the story ends, really. But I like that the thing that does the Nazis in is their hubris to think that they can, use this Jewish religious relic.
Yeah, there's even that
for their
that line where
campaign of genocide.
That Nazi commander's
I am
like,
uncomfortable with this Jewish ritual.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I hear
it's
Mick
also-
say in his sleep a lot.
It's also great how when the crate is in the bowels of the ship, you have the swastika there, and then it just starts to catch on fire all on its own, which I think is really saying that the Ark is God, has the power of God, and Nazism is an affront to God.
Get ready to get
Therefore,
smited,
I'm
motherfucker.
torching-
I am a vengeful God.
Right, I'm going to torch this shit.
Giving Old Testament
You're
for
it's
sure.
goddamn
Very
right
Old
it is.
Testament, which I think is great detail. Again, we love this Nazis getting decimated.
Yeah, this movie really
this is great at it.
is a fucking clinic in massacring Nazis.
Yeah.
You fucking
That
roll
shit,
one over with a
At
truck.
the end, holy bananas.
It's really well done.
Like the literally face melting fun.
More children's movies should have a scene where the
Someone just
skin
liquefies.
sloughs off
Liquefies.
of someone's face until
Also,
they are a skeleton.
So something that we have been doing lately is kind of fun. It's like, what does this movie mean to you? I grew up watching Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, originally just Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's fantastic, but the end sequence where the Nazis get decimated, really, it's kind of so violent and scary. Like, it freaked me out as a kid. Like, when the beams of light shoot out at the soldiers and you just see them almost like they're getting hit with like this shockwave. It's almost like they used dummies or miniatures, or they sped up the film or something, because the effect of them getting like blasted back is it freaked me out as a kid, because their eyes are glowing and shit, like it's like they're burning from the inside
the one
out.
shot of the light going through that one Nazi's like eyes and mouth,
like he's
and
melting
he's just like
inside.
getting thrown around like a rag doll.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I don't
It's
know how
crazy.
they did that.
It's really crazy. The effects are great, but we're kind of touching on something that I wanted to mention here. Is this movie's kind of violent? Like the scene in Nepal. That bar brawl and shootout is bloody.
Yeah.
Like a guy gets straight up popped in the head and there's a giant gush of blood that pops out and stuff. This is a family film.
Yeah, and then he falls down. He's on fire.
Yeah, it's this movie kind of goes there, and it is fun.
Even the opening sequence, you see all these fucking like bodies that were killed at some point in this like
All the
tunnel,
booby
right?
traps.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, like after Alfred Molina, like
young Alfred Molina.
in brown face.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought he was just dirty.
Well, that's the end of the show.
Okay.
It was nice talking about movies.
I was getting to my point, which was after Alfred Molina betrays Indy, you see him one last time, and he's been like fucking. I don't even know,
Spiked through the
spiked
skull.
through the-
Yeah.
that shit is
That
gnarly.
gate just fucking wrecked him.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Wrecked
yeah.
him. Damn near killed him.
Yeah. I didn't even know he was sick.
Oh my god.
That's a great character introduction, because we don't see Indy's face.
One of the best.
Yeah,
And then
that's great.
he pulls the gun, and then you get the whip sound, and the bullet goes off, and then it just this fantastic close up, and he walks out of the shadows because he's in silhouette. And it's one of those things where if your character is instantly recognizable from their silhouette,
I was
then you've
about to
got a
bring
winner.
this up. That's like a thing that animators talk about a
Yes,
lot. Is
and Indy's a great example of that with his classic fedora, his bullwhip there, and he walks out. It's lit so well, and you just get boom, 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 and you get this amazingly handsome Harrison Ford.
Zach,
He's so attractive in this film.
can you tell me about the moment that we shared on the couch where you fell in love with the face of an angel?
Yeah,
I
what is
like-
this?
You know, I consider myself to be a heterosexual man.
Right?
And I've seen this movie a lot of times.
Right.
And, like, I recognize that Harrison Ford's a handsome man. I watched this both with Alexis and with Sloane, and both of them were like, wow, young Harrison Ford's very handsome, like, pretty early
Yeah.
on. And I'm like, yeah, he's handsome. So we get to this scene where...
It's on the rooftop. I think.
it's the first scene with Sala.
Right.
Where he's
They're in
on the
Cairo.
rooftop in Cairo.
Yeah.
And Harrison Ford Sala says something and Harrison Ford smiles.
Yeah.
Like, so
And he's
genuine.
kind of, he like grins and he's kind of
It
looking
lights him
at
from the
camera.
inside out.
Right.
I
Much
had-
like the Ark of the Covenant.
Much like staring at, the pieces of the Ten Commandments and the mystical
Your
light
face
rising
melting.
from
Yeah.
the Ark of the Covenant. I had full chills run down my entire body when that happened, and I was like, what's happening right now?
It's
I've seen this
fucking-
movie a lot.
It's pure
You know why?
charisma.
We were having like a horny couch time because we had just finished.
We don't need to call it that.
Rogue Nation.
You just finished what?
Rogue Nation.
Oh, I see. Everyone was a little gassed up from
Yeah,
it.
I'd been seeing Rebecca Ferguson.
Oh,
Alexis
man.
had seen Tom Cruise's
Yeah.
pole stunt.
That's great.
know.
I love
I
that.
had him actually because we didn't finish that movie. I had him go back and replay that scene before we went back to the part that we were at.
Wow. Interesting. But yeah, no, when I
young
watched
Harrison
it with
Ford, what a fucking handsome man.
when I watched it with Sam, she walked in, she was like, he is so hot. And then kept saying that as
He
the
is.
movie's going. She's like, he's just so hot.
And you're like, all right, you don't have to keep saying it.
No, I mean, when
No, you
I
were-
was mirroring that
Yeah, I
energy
know,
all
you-
the way. You know me.
Yeah, no, I've got to talking about how recognizable Indy's silhouette is, though.
Yeah.
I have to shout out Deborah. I'm gonna butcher the last name. Noodleman.
Noodleman?
I did not say Noodleman.
Yeah, but what is it?
Noodleman. I think.
Noodleman? She's the costumer.
Yeah, she's the costumer,
Yeah.
and she did fucking incredible work. She talks about like aging the coat to be
Right.
like look like he's been wearing it every day of his life because it's a brand new coat, and she was like using a metal brush to like weather it, and was like ended up picking little metal splinters out of her hands for like weeks after that.
Jesus.
Yikes. Okay.
Suffering for her art.
I guess so.
And, created one of the most iconic looks in cinema history.
It's fantastic.
Gotta
Now,
shout out the crew.
I will say that Indiana Jones, I think, looks his best in Temple of Doom.
Yeah, maybe.
I think he like on the drawbridge scene.
Really?
Oh my god!
Alexis thinking about watching Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
now.
I mean, I'm ready to sweat a little more.
There we go.
so-
Let's do
Yeah,
it.
it's already pretty
But
damn in
let's
here.
let's talk about how we almost had Tom Selleck as Indiana Jones.
Yeah, very close.
They were doing screen tests with him. He was ready to shoot.
The only reason he wasn't in the movie was Magnum PI.
Magnum PI.
Yeah.
It was a
He was contractually
scheduling
obligated to do it.
conflict. Which is, I wonder if because basically, they brought in Harrison Ford at the last minute.
Yeah, George Lucas didn't want to bring him
No.
on because George Lucas came up with the story.
Right.
He didn't want to bring on Harrison Ford because he didn't want him to be like his De Niro,
His go-to guy,
Yeah.
which again shows you how George Lucas just is not. It's kind of his own worst enemy sometimes.
Listen, he's got a lot of good ideas. He's got
Yeah.
some not so good ones.
But yeah,
Midichlorians.
I'm so because as I was watching it today, I was thinking like, what would this have been like with Tom Selleck? And he's incredibly handsome. He's a big guy. He's tall, but he just I don't think has the charm that Harrison Ford brings.
Who
I
does?
think that Harrison Ford is just the perfect rogue, which is what we see in Star Wars and in Indiana Jones, but in a different flavor.
Yeah.
He's a scamp. He's a rogue. We love it. It's tasty.
Couldn't have said it better.
He's like Pee Wee Herman. I'm a rebel. I'm a lone wolf.
Well, that might be the first time anyone has ever said Harrison Ford is like Pee Wee Herman. And that's, that's the kind of insight that-
back bike, Marion.
Oh my god.
Okay, but also I've been meaning to watch that movie recently because it's on my short list of movies to watch before Barbie comes out.
Is it?
Yeah, Greta Gerwig talked about that as an influence.
Interesting. Uh-oh.
One other thing that I'd like to say about the Indiana Jones movies being, ardently anti-Nazi and anti-fascist.
Yes.
A thing that I love that both Raiders of the Lost Ark and Last Crusade do is the central antagonist is not a member of the Nazi party. They're a collaborator.
Right.
Belloc in this movie is a Frenchman who's comes from privilege and is collaborating with the Nazis.
Yeah, a Frenchman.
Yeah.
Collaborating.
Yeah.
That's especially
Despicable.
iffy.
Yeah. And in Last Crusade, it's an American.
Right.
And I like that both of them suffer like some of the most gruesome deaths in each movie.
Yeah.
Because, you know what the difference between a Nazi collaborator and a Nazi is in Steven Spielberg's eyes? Fucking nothing.
In some ways, they're almost worse.
Yeah.
Because it's like a lot of Nazi soldiers were drafted. It's not really their choice.
Yeah,
like they had to be.
Belloc knows what he's fucking doing. He knows it's wrong.
Choosing to collaborate. They are choosing this, and they also have it's kind of like Inglourious Bastards. They don't have the fucking balls to wear the uniform. That way,
gonna take that off.
They can still kind of sneak away. Yeah, fuck Nazi collaborators.
Yeah. Belloc, what a fucking great villain.
Great villain.
He's so good in this.
He's really great. I love his maniacal laughter. As
Yeah,
comic
the
booky
opening.
as it is, it's so great.
He also, I mean, it should be, pulpy, because, this is inspired by pulp adventure serials. The way he delivers Jones.
Yeah.
So good. He's in the same actors in Hot Fuzz.
That is, yeah, he's the priest that gets shot and goes, Jesus Christ! Which always gets me.
God.
Yeah.
Belloc is great. It's this whole movie. Well, okay, so let's talk about why we're talking about it. It's a blockbuster, right?
Goddamn right.
Why are we talking about this and not Star Wars, which, a lot of people credit as, kind of inventing the blockbuster, or Jaws.
Well, we already talked about Jaws.
We already talked about Jaws. And we didn't want to talk about Star Wars because I didn't want to talk about it, to be honest with you. I mean, don't get me wrong, Star Wars is great.
Star Wars was up in the running.
Well, also, I guess that's not true. I was going to say it's because it's not from the 80s, but we could have just easily have done
Empire?
We could have just easily... Well, we could have done that, but
Are you telling me we could have done The Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah, we could have, but I mean, we don't want to start with like a sequel.
Yeah.
Because think about it. I mean, Spider-Man 2 would have been like perfect, but we should talk about Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, if we're going to talk about Empire, we should talk about the first one. But I don't know. I just feel like...
Alexa's feeling fucking burned here.
Would you prefer to talk about Star Wars?
No, it's fine.
I'm sensing it.
I don't believe her.
Speaking of...
I don't know about you listeners, but I'm scared.
Speaking of Star Wars, 3 guys I want to shout out who also worked on the Star Wars franchise. That worked on Raiders are Lawrence Kasdan, who's one of the screenwriters. That's what a fucking great writer does, is bring this like wonderful kind of like 1930s pulpy dialogue to this movie. The scenes with Marion and Indy feel very like, fucking Bogey and Bacall.
Could have been in black and white with a soft focus. Yeah.
And then Norman Reynolds, who was the production designer on Star Wars as well, who made a point to, design this movie in a different way than Star Wars to try to make it look much more classical.
Right.
Yeah.
And finally, who I think is kind of the secret star of both Star Wars and Indiana Jones, Ben Burtt. Ben Burtt, the sound designer. Star Wars. The
guy who invented the lightsaber sound.
Yeah, Star Wars maybe has the best sounds in the biz, but Indiana Jones, the gunshots in this movie.
Well,
the whizzing sounds of the bullets.
I think Ben Burtt said in an interview that, I don't know if it's every gunshot, but the gunshot in the beginning where the guy helping him was going to shoot him in the back, and then the gun goes off accidentally when he whips it out of his hand. Yeah. That sound of the gun going off is like, I think, like a 12-foot cannon.
Wow. That
they recorded the sound of because they wanted something that, bam, like hits you. And they just, kind of brought it down to the point where it's like, yeah, okay, it kind of sounds like a revolver, but that's the sound of a goddamn cannon going off.
Yeah.
It's great. Sounds don't have to be literal.
It needs to be more real than reality.
Exactly. I agree with you. It's so great.
I'm just thinking of when we heard the Wilhelm scream.
Yeah, where does it appear in this film?
It's when one of the Nazis gets thrown out of the back of the truck when Indy steals it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so the Wilhelm scream, I feel like a lot of people know what it is. It's a famous scream that
Right.
was recorded for some movie in like the 50s.
Something like that.
And now gets used in all kinds of movies. It's
Yeah.
kind of like it's almost played out, but it's kind of
Yeah.
like a
It's like a-
sound
it's a running
designer.
gag.
Yeah, it's a
Inside
sound designer
joke.
gag.
Yeah.
Ben Burtt started that.
Really?
Oh, did he?
Yeah, Ben Burtt, I believe, was the first person to use it
Like that.
since for like a long time in Star Wars. He was like, I love this
Yeah.
sound. It's so funny.
Yeah.
And then started using it in.
Sound designer.
Yeah, I understand him.
I know the
Having done some
Wilhelm.
sound mixes, I absolutely understand the desire to amuse yourself
I
with something
forget, but
stupid.
the
Yeah.
Wilhelm scream is like take 3 or 4 of the Wilhelm screams because there's like 7 of them.
Yeah.
And I forget, I found that out recently that the famous one is like take 3 or 4, stuff like that. And that's the one that they end up using.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
Yeah. All right. Indiana
You know what?
Jones, guys.
They should hire me. I'm really good at screaming.
You are a great screamer.
Let's hear a few takes. Let's make this really listenable for our listeners.
You can't.
I already-
Mick had to turn down the levels so
Yeah.
atrociously low in order to record the
We
scream
did a
he
little
of me.
short film. You helped shoot, Zach, and the screen, because you're
Oh,
the
in
lead.
Bloody Mary?
In
Yeah.
Bloody Mary, you're the lead, and
Yeah.
it ends with your character screaming as the camera pushes in
Yeah.
on you. So we record this. And what did I say? I was like, that was great. And then I'm just like turning down the
No,
levels.
I was like, oh, is that okay? He's like, yeah, with his eyes like fucking blasted open.
My
He's like,
eyes were swelling.
yeah, let me just turn down the levels a little.
Yeah.
We should put that on the Instagram around Halloween.
Well, I think we talked about that we want to use either that scream or just get you to scream again and have that be a part of our Spooktober tag.
Ooh, I like
Oh, that
that.
sounds fun.
I like
sounds
that.
fun.
Yeah. Anyways.
What else? I mean, this movie, I was saying to Alexis, kind of reminds me of the Spider-Verse movies in that you can basically pause any frame of it and it's like an iconic, perfectly blocked image.
Right.
Like
Beautiful.
Spielberg can just like pack a frame with information in such a like beautiful and efficient way,
Right.
Like nobody fucking
Like
else. Like
that scene in the bar where after Marion has died, quote unquote, and Belloc and Indiana Jones are talking, and then in the foreground you just see a hand come in and pass a pistol to another guy. Like, that's great.
yeah,
That's super great.
yeah. I also the shot of Marion in her bar in Nepal when Indy first enters, and
Oh,
you
with
see
the
his
shadow.
on the wall,
Yeah.
as he's come back into her life after a decade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones. I always thought
I-
you'd come walking through that door.
You always say that to me when I enter the apartment.
I do.
I love how sweaty he is during the was it Cairo?
Yeah, the
Nepal,
Cairo sequence
Cairo,
in
yeah.
the market.
That's
Yeah.
because he had dysentery.
I
Yes,
know that, and I'm all, I can see it. I can
Yeah.
see it in his eyes.
Yeah.
Again, like iconic moment of necessity is the mother of invention is the
Where he shoots
would-be
the guy.
sword fight. Yeah, where a goon is swinging a big cutlass around.
Yeah.
We think we're gonna get an action scene with him and Indy, and
Which
Indy
they were
just
supposed to.
fucking shoots him. Yeah, they had a choreographed
Yeah,
fight scene.
whole
Again,
choreographed
a lot of
fight.
people know this. It's hard to
Yeah.
bring new things to the table with
With
Raiders
Indiana
because
Jones,
it's
yeah.
like
But that's okay. We might. I know for a fact we have some listeners that just like listening to us talk and don't know that much about
Film?
About film.
Well,
so
that's
I
nice
think it's
of 'em.
worth.
Why?
My mom always enjoys it
because
she
it's
doesn't
my
know the-
parents.
the history. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's
Yeah.
my parents.
Hi, parents.
I thought I was being kind of obvious about that. But that was a whole choreographed thing that he had the poops. Harrison Ford had the trots, and he's like, I don't think I can do this without shitting myself.
I've had to
Yeah,
ask
the
myself
poops.
that question before.
Sometimes you just have to stop and go, I'm gonna shit myself. We've got to change this up, Mr. Spielberg.
Amen, brother. Okay, here's something that I'm gonna fucking complain about.
We should just
Hold on.
end on that.
I really want to hear.
End the show on.
I really want to hear the sound that they were recording with Harrison Ford running down the alleyways. They probably had to remix all that because it's just running down.
Deborah Nadoolman.
Ben Burt's like, I can't use this.
Deborah Nadoolman said that they had like 10 different indie costumes, and now I know why.
Now you know why. Yeah. Again, out of necessity.
So
God damn it, Harrison. the dry cleaning bill on this movie. Unbelievable.
The budget has ballooned. Okay, sincerely talking about the budget, though.
Yeah.
Like,
Great.
I can't believe that the new Indiana Jones cost fucking $300 million and looks like garbage. And this movie cost, I think, adjusted for inflation, around $65 million. And it's like one of the best looking movies ever made.
It's so good. Yeah. It's incredible. It's so well shot.
And it was super run and gun, too. Like, they shot this movie, I think, in like 2 months, something like that, maybe.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, like it was a ridiculously short shoot.
Wow.
And, so many fucking locations, so many models.
Yeah, it's a globetrotting film.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But a complaint I'd like to lodge with AI
Okay.
related to
This
this
is
movie
a great platform for it.
is I saw some fucking video that somebody posted that was like, I've expanded all of the frames in Raiders of the Lost Ark so you can see more using AI. And it's like, these like long vertical
To make it look like it was IMAX or something?
I don't know. To
You know
make
what
it
these
fit on a
movies
phone.
should be
But you know
is-
what?
Oh,
you
wait,
know
you
what
mean-
it does?
You mean that type of?
You know what expanding the frames does?
Yeah.
It puts the horizon in the fucking middle.
That's not what Spielberg wanted.
That's boring as shit.
Yeah. If the Fablemans taught me one thing, is that when the horizon's at the top of the frame, it's interesting. When it's at the bottom, it's interesting. When it's in the middle, it's boring as shit.
That's right.
And you can look at this movie, and routinely, the
That's
horizon is
interesting.
at the top or the bottom.
I thought you meant like, let's make it full screen. But no, you're talking about how do you just make it so it fits on your phone?
Yeah, it's fucking stupid. Kill the robot. Kill the robot, kill it dead.
Wow. Well, I want to talk about, because again, this is a great blockbuster film because it's globetrotting, it's full of action, full of big explosions. It's one of the best adventure films.
Yeah.
The truck chase
Oh my god.
with the Ark on that little like Nazi convoy
The whole sequence from the plane to the truck.
is great.
Okay, yeah, Zach, remember when I pointed out, I was like, how's his dick doing? Because, like, he was getting, like, dragged behind that
I
truck
know
for,
how
like,
they
a
actually
while.
did it.
What?
How they actually did that stunt.
Oh,
Well, he's
okay.
getting dragged under the truck. Sorry, what were you saying about his dick?
Ooh.
Let's not
Sorry,
cut that off.
I don't want to steer away from that.
I was concerned, for its safety.
Yeah, for the road
future
rash.
use, for future use. But how did they do it? Like, are you gonna keep me anticipating this?
Well,
or
I was
what?
just wondering what you were going to say about his dick, other than that you were concerned, which is admirable, and you should be.
Oh, this reminded me of Speed because it's like the same kind of thing where you get
Very
under
similar.
the truck.
Yeah. Again, all done practically.
Yeah, so this was a riff on a stunt, I think, it might have been from an old Zorro movie that Harrison Ford's stuntman really wanted to do.
Right.
And the way they achieved it was they had the stunt driver keeping the truck going really straight.
Right.
And then they dug a trench
And you can kind of see it.
underneath
Yeah.
so that, he's not just absolutely getting just
It's
graded down on the ground.
What's crazy though to think about is it's basically like a slot car where it's on a track and it has to stay there because it's got a groove underneath. Except the groove is a person. It's a guy.
Yeah, it's a guy shimmying his way under
Yeah.
a truck.
It's insane.
Such a crazy stunt. Yeah.
It's really, really well done. And then he comes out the back, and then he's being dragged behind, and he's
that's what I'm
hanging
saying.
on to the bullwhip.
That's the part I was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where you got concerned for his,
I
for
was
his
very-
nether region.
That whole sequence is great, and it's also just very long. He starts on the horse. He's on the horse. He jumps onto the truck. He kicks the shit out of the guys in the front. He's on the truck. Guy in the truck comes back, kicks him out. He goes underneath the truck. Then he's back on the truck. Then he kicks the other guy out. Then that guy's on the front of the truck, and it's just like, it's just so well realized.
That guy gets fucking run the fuck over.
And they do it
Yeah,
in such an
great
old-fashioned
Nazi
style
kill.
where they do it where he's in front of the truck, but he's kind of covered by some foreground. The truck goes by, and he just kind of like acts.
Yeah, flips his arms up in the air.
It's so old school.
Yeah,
it's
awesome.
charming.
Yeah,
It reminds me of a certain film that we might be discussing next week.
Oh, interesting.
Like that, like honestly,
Yeah.
that whole sequence reminds me, or you could say the film we'll talk about next week reminds me of this sequence. Just the shots of the Nazi slamming on the accelerator and get a close up of a boot going down, and then you get the shot of the tires and just it's so great. Good God.
We're update on the sweat situation.
I think it's a good 3 inches now.
Alexis is
This boob sweat is
That is
rocking.
solidly damp.
That is real juice.
I love that sequence going from the fight on the airplane to stealing the truck with the Ark on it.
Yeah.
Because there's also like so many great telling little character moments with Indy in that sequence.
Yeah.
Like I love his fight with the big giant Nazi because immediately he pulls like
all of the
dirty tricks in a fight. Like he acts like there's something on the guy's boot. The guy looks down and then he kicks him in the balls.
Yeah.
The guy grabs him and he bites him.
And then
he bites him, and then he gets knocked down on the ground by this Nazi, and the guy's advancing on him, and Indy just grabs a bunch of sand and throws it in his eyes.
Yeah.
That dude was enormous, though.
I think he's in all of the Indiana Jones movies in some role. Yeah, he's some famous strong man.
Okay. I love how that whole thing starts, though, where he tells, what's Rhys Davies' character's name again? I can never remember.
Sala?
Sala. He tells Sala and Marion, like, get to London, find us a ride. It can be a boat, it can be a plane, doesn't matter. I'm going to get the Ark. Sala's like, how? He's like, I don't know. Making this up as I go along. Like, right there, you know who that kind of reminds me of? Ethan Hunt.
Dun. Yeah, you could honestly take a shot in the Mission Impossible movies every time I'll figure it out or you'll figure it out is set.
Yeah. But I love that for an action hero because it really shows that he's just, it's not all some plan and it's all coming together. Nothing's coming together. Nothing's working. So I just have to fucking figure this out somehow.
That's why.
And that's what makes his victories feel all the bigger.
Yeah, that's why Indiana Jones is such a compelling character. And like particularly as the 1980s progressed.
Right.
Like the 1980s were the age of like the unbeatable strongman
It's the
action
steroid
hero.
era.
It's Stallone, it's Schwarzenegger.
Van Damme.
Yeah.
Talk about getting juiced up.
You're goddamn right. Indiana Jones gets his ass beaten and thrown around and he fails consistently and he gets hurt.
Yeah, like I love like after that whole the plane scene and then the truck scene, they're on the docks and Indiana Jones like can't stand up on his own. He's like leaning on Marion and limping, and you buy that because he was like being dragged behind a truck. He got shot in the arm.
Yeah, the scene where the lovely scene that they do a worse version of in Dial of Destiny, where Marion is kissing the parts of him that don't
I thought
hurt.
that was sweet.
No,
I thought that was
lazy,
a sweet callback.
Lazy.
I was crying.
Yeah, well, you
Not
know,
me.
again, you're a mark. But
I'm a mark?
yeah, you're a fucking mark for being emotionally manipulated by bullshit.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Bullshit. That movie, listeners, Dial of Destiny is not that bad.
It's not good.
It's not great.
I would
but it's
argue
fun.
it's not good, and I didn't have fun.
You're so anti-fun, dude.
I'm pro fun when it's actually fun.
Do you
and
like
you know
Star
what's
Wars?
fun? This movie's
Do you like
fun.
Star Wars?
I've been burned by Star Wars.
You're anti-fun.
I've been
You
so
are
hurt.
anti-fun.
You know what's not fun? The Rise of Skywalker.
Well, yeah.
We don't need to get in. We don't
But
need to
he's
get
so
into
wet.
this.
He's so dead.
I'm so
And
wet
so are
right
we.
now.
We're all so wet right
I'm
now.
so slick.
Jesus.
Welcome to
Yeah,
Waterworld.
I know.
Population me.
Yeah.
God, no population in this whole fucking apartment.
Oh yeah, man.
All right,
I know the
well,
listeners
You
love
could
listening to us talk
irrigate a whole field with my sweat right now.
about disgusting.
Yeah.
We are single-handedly fixing the California drought right
You're
now.
goddamn right.
You're welcome.
What was I
God, my
saying
mangoes
about
are salty.
Indiana Jones? Oh yeah, the scene where Marion's kissing the parts of him that don't hurt. That's
very cute.
also it's very cute, and also again like goes to show that Indiana Jones is like a guy who can be beaten and broken and gets tired because like after they kiss, he fucking falls asleep because
Yeah.
he's
Right.
exhausted.
Yeah,
He looks like an angel sleeping. So.
he does.
I like how many skeletons are in this movie. I like a movie with a lot of skeletons.
There are a lot of skeletons.
I
like
There's some good
them.
skeleton
Yeah.
action.
I like the the skeleton that has the snake come out of its mouth. That's
cool. Good. That's some very kooky Halloween horror house type stuff.
Yeah, I like the
horror
first
house.
Yeah, right, man.
Well, maybe some people thought I said the other thing. I just want to make sure that they know that I'm not that person. I'm pro-sex
You're
work.
so that person.
I'm not.
You're that guy.
I'm not.
You're that guy.
Who's that guy?
We cannot do that. Oh, Jesus Christ. What a good episode this is.
I love the whole snake sequence in
I love
the...
that he lights them on fire.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
Fucking torch.
Like he really doesn't
those
love
fucking
snakes. Like
yeah.
with the tarantulas, he like casually like brushes them off. He doesn't hurt them.
I was not okay.
Oh,
I was not
I
okay
have a
during that
fun
scene.
little fact about the tarantula scene.
Okay.
So apparently the spider wrangler put all these tarantulas on Alfred Molina's back in the beginning, and they're all like sitting still.
Yeah.
And Spielberg goes, why aren't they moving? They look fake.
Yeah.
And the spider wrangler's like, well, they're all males, and you know, if we put a female on there, they'll probably start moving around. And Spielberg's like, well, can we get one of those? Puts the female spider on him, and they just start going crazy, like crawling all over Alfred Molina and fighting
Alfred
each
Molina
other.
has a tarantula orgy happening.
Yes,
on
basically.
His person.
And Spielberg is just like, shoot it. Yeah. And he's like, okay, now, Alfred, I need you to look scared. And Alfred Molina's like, yeah,
He's like,
I
fuck
can
you.
do that. I think I can make that
He's like,
happen.
Steven, it's called acting. I don't like.
You just covered me in bucks.
Oh my god.
Well, they're
I
technically
would cry.
Yeah.
I would literally have a mental breakdown and cry.
Also, fun fact about the snake scene. Apparently, the way they achieved that shot of the
Biting.
cobra hissing.
I was just going to talk about that. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, they put in a sheet of glass, and that way, this in fact very venomous creature could not bite the face of our heroes, and it's given away because when Marion falls down with them, and then she becomes face to face with the cobra, you can see just slightly, and I noticed it today, the reflection of the cobra as it goes towards the glass. Just slightly.
Didn't spot it. I knew that was what
I
it was.
knew it was. The only reason I found it was because I knew it was there when I was watching it, and I was looking for it.
Yeah.
But it's very subtle, and it's. I mean, that's how good it is. It's like it's there, and you can only see it if you're looking for it.
Also, Harrison Ford sells that so well. When he's backing away from the cobra on the floor, he looks so scared.
Maybe they didn't have the sheet of glass for his close-up. Maybe it was only for Marion.
Harrison can take it.
Steven's like, I don't know. I can see the reflection. Get that glass out of there.
There's a really... I feel like...
Harrison looks scared.
I feel like Steven Spielberg was kind of doing like a... Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell type thing on that set.
Oh, just beating the hell out of him.
Just fucking with Harrison Ford.
He's
Because
bullying him.
I was watching the behind the scenes. There's this clip of like Harrison Ford kind of relaxing in a chair and like talking to someone, shooting the shit. And then Steven Spielberg just like comes up behind him and just dumps a half a glass of water on his head in his lap. He's like, hey man, how you doing? And Harrison Ford, I got you a water. And Harrison Ford just like looks at him and then chucks the water in Steven Spielberg's face.
I love it.
I'm sure this shoot was a nightmare, but it also was probably pretty fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
For those that got paid handsomely well, I'm sure it's fun.
I'm sure that they did okay.
Yeah, let's interview a PA from Raiders of the Lost Ark. How was that?
Yeah. let's get the real story.
Well, I kept having to go to the
guys.
dry cleaners all the time. Those fresh fucking pants. God.
Stop running the motor.
There he goes. There goes Harrison. He sounds like a tugboat.
So funny.
Semi-automatic bells.
Oh my god. Man, this is a good movie.
This is a really good movie.
I really enjoyed it. Alexis, how'd you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, I had fun watching it with you.
What was it to you, this film? Like, had you seen it a lot before?
I don't. Well, I think you put it on one time, and I fell asleep in the middle of it.
Right. Was that your first time watching it that one time?
I think so.
So you didn't grow up with Indiana Jones?
No.
What do you think now that you're a grown adult watching it for like the first time in its unaltered, unadulterated way?
It's fun. I'm sure if I had watched it like as a kid, like I'd be more like, like, oh my God, Indiana Jones. But I mean, like, as an adult woman now, I can say just horny for Harrison.
Would you say it's the shit?
Yeah, there it is.
Fired.
Indiana Jones, it's the poops.
I'm so hot, guys.
I know.
Yeah,
we need to stop
I feel like
that we can
I'm
turn the air
getting
back
delirious
on.
in
Yeah,
this place.
I'm literally about to melt.
Man, but this has always been in constant rotation for me. Like, again, I watched this just on its own like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And even today, I was like, all right, I probably should rewatch it. And it was easy.
Yeah.
I always get joy from it. I've often thought we always have those comfort films where maybe you're having a lazy afternoon or maybe you're even feeling down. And there's just a movie that you put on that you can fall asleep to, or you can just sit there and have a good time. Actually, it's funny that you napped to it, because quite often when I put on Raiders of the Lost Ark, like sometimes I'll just kind of nod off. It's because it's just so comforting to me.
Yeah, you feel safe.
It's like
with
a cozy blanket,
Yeah.
Yeah.
A cozy shit-stained blanket.
Yeah. I don't know. Not my choice of napping.
Well, yeah, but it was though. I showed it to you. It was your choice of napping because you fell asleep to it.
No, it was like nighttime or something. I think we'd already watched like a couple movies, so I was just like passed out.
I'd like to shout out the fucking glasses Nazi.
Oh yeah.
What an iconic
What's his name?
secondary villain. Glasses Nazi.
That's it.
I don't know. He probably has a name, but to me, he's always glasses Nazi.
Heinrich.
Yeah, sure. Hans, perhaps.
Something like that.
Yes.
Klaus.
Klaus.
But I love the shot where Marion's about to escape from Belloc's tent, and she runs into Glasses Nazi.
Oh, right.
And then he brings out this thing that
Nunchuck-looking thing.
looks like nunchucks. It's like 3 black bars and chains. That's like, oh my god, what's he gonna do?
He's gonna torture
And
us.
then he takes off his coat and folds it up into a coat hanger. A man who is so evil
Yeah.
that his coat hanger is evil.
Yeah. It's a good little
Really
gag.
appreciate it. Yeah, Raiders, what a picture.
It's really, really great.
You should probably watch it.
The ethics are a little questionable, just now of him just going around and getting artifacts.
Stealing artifacts from various cultures.
Especially in the beginning where, it's like, fuck it. Like, I had it in my hand, Marcus. But look at these. These are some great pieces.
He's
It's
kind
at
of
least
a
worth
scumbag.
$2,000. Well, he is, which is kind of why, again, I like his characterization in Temple of Doom. Because he's not working for the government. He's just out kind of in the black market, getting artifacts, trading them, that kind of thing. And then he ends up in his main adventure when he chooses to help a community in India. But, I kind of like him being this kind of man
racist
of
at all.
mystery. It gets a little racist.
It gets so
gets
racist.
a little racist.
Temple of Doom.
Very racist.
Temple of Doom is a movie so racist that it comes up with stereotypes that did not exist. I'm like, where did you get this?
Yeah. But that's the thing. Again, I will say when I rewatched Temple of Doom a bit ago, it's a really good movie. It's just like it has some very problematic shit in it.
It's got its
And
moments.
also, that whole story of we shot the whole dinner scene, with the Indian characters actually eating Indian food, but it was only from the blonde woman's perspective that they're eating all of this other stuff. I kind of call bullshit on that because when you rewatch it, I don't think that's the case. I think
they were just
I think it's exactly what it feels
doing
like.
racism and gross out shit.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think did they kind of doctor with the editing here? I don't know. Maybe if they did a great job doctoring it because it seems like they only intended on portraying these lovely people of color as people that
are eating fried monkey brains
for dessert.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Temple of Doom.
That's not Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Raiders of the Lost Ark's a good movie.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Raiders and Last Crusade.
Temple of Doom. Fun fact about Temple of Doom: Spielberg and Lucas were both going through divorces at the time.
Yeah,
and Spielberg has since been like, "Yeah, that movie's kind of like needlessly dark and grim." We were going through some stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that's also the movie where Spielberg met his current wife.
Yeah,
They've been married ever since. She's
That's
bad in
great.
the movie, but
no, she's not bad.
she's irritating in the movie.
Her acting's fine. It's the character's not great.
I'm so curious now.
Yeah.
You know, listen, it's got its moments.
It does have its moments. It's great set pieces. But
if you like the Indiana Jones ride at Disneyland,
I do.
Okay,
Then
Temple of Doom is the most like
you should,
that.
yeah, you should check out that movie. It's fun. Plus, you get Shortstop in it.
Yeah.
Shortstop?
What's his name?
Kwan.
Short Round.
Short Round, not Shortstop. He's great in it.
He does have a baseball cap, so I kind of get it.
Yeah. And then another little quick story that I don't know if it's true. I think it is, though. In the beginning, where Harrison Ford is arguably at his hottest, the lovely, I think he's a professor at Berkeley because he flies out of San Francisco.
So hot. Oh my God, when he's
And
in his
when he's
academic clothes?
In his glasses.
Yes.
The girl blinking, I love,
So I
love you at him.
heard
That's Alexis.
that was the first AD's idea. Like they had a close up of, and they were like, "Oh, she's really beautiful." Like, and then the first AD was like, "Wouldn't it be funny as if she closed her eyes and it had 'Love You' written on the eyelids?" And they loved that idea, and they stuck with it. And that woman who I forget her name, who plays that girl with the eyelid message, went on to become a very successful and prominent script supervisor on some
I heard
major
that.
films.
That's very cool.
Yeah, so it's kind of fun that she got started as like a featured background.
I love that.
I love that scene in his class when all of the students leave because it's like all women and like two guys, and then one of the guys leaves an apple on his desk.
Yeah.
It's like, all the ladies want to be in Dr. Jones's class.
Yeah, Dr. Jones. Great film.
What a picture.
It's one of the quintessential blockbusters. It's just such a good time. It's a great popcorn film.
Yeah.
I don't know have we used that term yet? Popcorn movie?
It's a popcorn movie.
Definite popcorn film.
As Tom Cruise recently said, I love my movies. Movies, popcorn.
Did he say that?
Yeah.
I love it.
The last thing he said before all the actors went on strike.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think I
studios
saw,
need to come back to the table because Tom Cruise with fucking idle time on his hands is like one of the most terrifying prospects I can think of.
He's going to be busy at work on something.
Yeah,
He
that's
probably won't be
that's
on
what
screen, but,
that's
like-
what scares me. Get him in a movie. Get him jumping off of something.
You know what
I don't
really
want him with free time.
I kind of want him because now we got Top Gun, we got Mission. I want to see him return to Edge of Tomorrow before he gets too old. I think he's still, especially with Dead Reckoning, I think he's still like young enough. He's still sprightly enough where he can do a big sci-fi film.
81.
Yeah, Harrison Ford's 80 and
So,
he's...
yeah, I'll be honest, it makes me a little nervous when someone asks Tom Cruise, like, "Oh, did you see Dial of Destiny?" He's like, "Oh, man. Yeah, great time. Harrison's a hero. The fact that he's still doing that at his age, like, I can't wait to be doing that."
No,
and then I
wait,
immediately had
wait.
a vision of, like, 80-year-old Ethan Hunt, and I'm like, I don't know if I want that.
I don't know if I need to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Raiders of the Lost Ark, we watched it. You've probably watched it,
You've
too.
probably watched it.
It's a good one.
You
I like it.
Maybe listen to us talk about it. If
Yeah.
you have, we
made
thank
it
you
to
from
this
the bottom
point,
of our
if you
hearts.
made it past us talking about our titty sweat and making shit
Yeah,
sounds,
that would be a great drinking game. Listen to this
Thank
with
you.
friends on Friday night. Have some shot glasses ready, and every time we mention our titty sweat,
sweat or
take
go.
a shot.
take a shot. So, we're wrapping up Raiders of the Lost
Great.
Ark,
We are wrapping it up.
and we're coming to the end of Blockbuster Month.
Yes, we are.
It's flown by.
How should we do that? Because wait, hold on. We covered the 90s, we covered the 2000s, and then we covered the 80s.
Are we going to go back to the 70s?
I don't think so.
You're telling me we're going forward.
I think we're going forward in time.
I think we are going forward.
We're
in
going to
time.
go to the last decade
Yes.
before our current one, the 2010s.
And there are some pretty solid options coming out in terms of big blockbuster movies from 2010 to 2019.
Yeah, but
Which one did we decide on? Which one?
Alexis, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
We're talking about 2015's Mad Max Fury Road.
Ooh, directed by...
I don't remember.
George Miller.
You don't remember?
Cut that.
Well, this is probably one of the only like action movies
Badgley.
that is like a 5-star on my like ratings.
Hell yeah, it is.
Is it?
Yeah, I
it?
don't have a lot of those on there. So.
Wow, that's
well,
crazy.
Yeah, we're talking
That's a
Mad
good
Max
choice.
Fury Road. It stars Tom Hardy, Charlize Theron, and Nicholas Hoult.
Yep.
And you can rent it on... Weirdly, you can't rent it on YouTube. But you can rent it on Amazon Prime Video and Google Play Movies and TV and Apple TV.
Also, you can find it on our shelf because it fucking rules.
Yeah, I was like unreasonably excited for this movie to come out. Like when it did, like I was so obsessed and I was so pleased with it. And
Yeah.
I can't wait to talk about it with you guys.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So tune in next week, folks.
And if you want to find us on social media, you can find us at Film Majors Pod on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. And if you want to shoot us an email, shoot us an email. Send us some fan mail. You can email us at filmmagerspod@gmail.com.
Do you think anyone actually listens to this?
Eh.
Like when we start saying that, like they just tune us out? Please don't.
Yeah, don't.
Go to
Send
the
us a
end.
fucking email.
Yeah.
I
You know what we
dare
should
you.
do? We should have a post-credit sequence to keep people in the seats.
Oh my god,
until
the
very
post-credit
end.
sequence at the end of Rogue Nation was so good, though. And for why?
The last shot of Tom hanging
Yeah.
from the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there one in Rogue Nation?
When they're rolling just like the actor credits,
Yeah.
Oh,
So good.
okay.
Tom Cruise's name comes up, and we get one more shot of him hanging from the
That's
Yeah.
dope.
plane.
Wow,
Yeah.
very cool.
All right. Well, that's enough talk about Mission Impossible. That's enough talk about Raiders of the Lost Ark. Let's get the fuck out of here. It's so hot.
We will see you next week. Anyone else just sweating profusely underneath their titties right now? Because I am like a waterfall.
Yeah, I got some titty sweat going. Alexis has some visible titty sweat.
Visible. I've been very visible.
Well,
to
you're
this
wearing white.
I am.
Listen. The nice thing is that
And there's no like bra underneath to soak it up.
Nice.
I'm like saturated with sweat now.
If I get my belly button to be sweaty, maybe I can make a face on my shirt.